Okay, so we're playing Dialect tonight. Thank you both for being here. So tonight we are playing the Blackfish City scenario, which is adapted from a book that I really like called Blackfish City. And so I adapted it. And it's still kind of like a rough draft. I did most of it today, so we'll see how it goes. So first we can talk about the safety tools. So as in most Gauntlet games, we're going to use the X card. And so if there is ever a moment when you feel uncomfortable or you don't want to see something, you can just exit, either say X, put X in the chat, make an X with your arms. And I will say that since we're using Roll20 and shifting back and forth, it is probably going to be most effective if you say it out loud so that I will for sure hear you. And then we are also going to do lines and veils, which I have a handy spreadsheet, which I see some of you have found already, but just in case, I will put it in the chat again. So where is the share? Okay. So a line is basically anything that you don't want to be included in the game at all. And then a veil is something that we can refer to happening off screen. Or I've also had things where it happened in like the backstory of a character, but it's nothing that will be talked about on screen or shown. So I'll just wait for you to stop writing. So right now, the lines we have are sexual violence and lethal violence to children, and veils are torture and non-lethal violence to children. And also, like I said, even if you don't put anything down now, we can always stop and add something in the middle. If anybody is feeling uncomfortable, we can always promote a veil to a line. So now that we've discussed that, and also if you do X anything, I may ask you a clarifying question so that we can avoid it, and we can, take a minute to talk about it if you want, but you also don't have to explain anything. We will just jump over it and keep going. So I guess we will go ahead and introduce the game. I know both of you have played Dialect before. Yoshi played it this morning. So I usually do kind of an introduction of the game to kind of get people in the mood, especially if they've never played it before. But since both of you have played it, I think we can kind of skip over that. Basically, this is a game about language and how it dies, a game about an isolated community and the language that they build. So I think we will go ahead and go to the backdrop and introduce the backdrop. And then after we've introduced the backdrop, before we go to creating the aspects, we can talk about what tone we want for the game. So can both of you see the backdrop in the folder? It's like an uploaded Word document. Yoshi says no.
Which folder are you referring to? I see a document and I see the Roll20. I don't see a folder.
Okay, I will share it again. Oh, okay. Maybe it didn't go through. So here's the folder. Oh, that's just a link to the scenario. which I'm not sure. Well, let me.
I mean, that's probably good enough if that's all we need.
I mean, yes. I also have in the folder. I have the reference sheet. So I will just share it again for you. I mean, you both know how to play Dialect, so it is not as necessary. But there is like the one-page handout for the rules reference in there. So I think my food is here. So I will be gone for just a minute, and then we will continue.
So you played this earlier. Which scenario did you play?
I played the Wolfpack backdrop.
How was that?
It was good. I enjoyed it. We had a fun Wolfpack. I've played a couple of backdrops, a whole bunch, and now I'm like, I need to play some different ones. So this is good because I have never played this one before because I think this is the first time it's ever being played.
Yeah, I mean, this is Nola's invention, so I'm excited to see that. I've played Dialect twice before, had a good time both times. I love the concept of it, so looking forward to seeing what words we come up with. What were some Wolfpack words?
So let's see. We did a lot of repurposing words. And so like we had dark was like a thing of like good luck, but it eventually meant like safety type thing because it got reused. The bright was like a scary thing that was happening. There was Drake, which is was a combination, like it was a what's the name of it? It's a blended word from the Breaking Dark, so like dark break, because there was a bunch of like street lights and things like that was breaking the dark, which was safety. So it was like the not very safe place that was all lit up with floodlights. We had Pavel, which was a blended word of pack and level for like the hierarchy, and sort of like a resource where like you could lose Pavel and be lower in the hierarchy or gain Pavel.
It's great.
Yeah, some good stuff. I enjoyed it.
I still remember like words from the first session I ever played because it was like I couldn't stop thinking about them for weeks afterwards, and even to this day, it's like anytime I hear the word current, like in our first game, it was a like Mars colony that everything was based around this whole like needing the sun's power to power everything, and your electricity was your money. So current was a form of currency. It was like unforgettable. It's great.
Hey, Bethany.
Hey, Bethany. Welcome.
Hi.
So I just posted in the chat the link that Noella just shared before you got here, which should be a Google Drive folder. So if you open that up, that should open up to a bunch of things in there. Did that work?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So the important thing is look at the lines and veils for Blackfish City because that's what we're playing. And then feel free to add to it if you have anything else, but also look to see what those are there. And then we're also going to look at the Blackfish City docks in a moment. We're not there yet, but we will.
Okay.
And then Noella is coming back with food, and we are being recorded and streamed live. Hi, audience.
wonder who would be watching at this, well, where I am at this late hour. I suppose
Wow.
other parts of the world it's not.
I was on help desk earlier for Gauntletcon, or yesterday for Gauntletcon, and we basically, when it was really quiet, we would just watch one of the streams that was going on. So it was like me and the other help desk person, and I think we were the only two people watching, but whatever.
Bethany, you made it.
Yeah. Yep. I was actually in another game and we all kind of lost track of time and then looked at, like, oh, it's 12:10.
That's all right. Have you played Dialect before?
I have not.
Okay, so since you haven't, I think we're going to do that introduction to get in the mood. So this is the Google Slide PowerPoint. I'll share my screen.
Yoshi has shared the entire folder with Bethany at this time, so.
Good. So what I am going to do is have you all read a slide on the PowerPoint. So, David, can you read the first one?
You bet. So this is a game about language. Do you recall your first words? They were something simple or silly, no doubt. Oh, geez. We lost her.
Oh, no.
We'll give that a minute, I suppose.
If you go back to the Google Drive, there's the slides in there, so you could also read it from that instead of.
Yeah, I see that here. So do you recall your first words? They were something simple or silly, no doubt. You were probably toothy and drooling, and most definitely loud. Even if you don't remember, you surely said them. The act of saying something, anything, may seem so humble and small, and yet it's quite extraordinary. By speaking and developing language, you are exercising something big, something fundamental to being human. This seed is in each of us, a profound spark that separates us as a species and drives a line between humans, animals, and robots, for now at least. From your first words, you were anchoring your connection to the world and your place in it. Language is the logic of your internal clockwork. It's how your brain organizes information and how you convey yourself to others. It is your innately endowed technology, and because it is so utterly human, the markers for your culture and identity are embedded within it.
I can go. This is a game about language. Language tells a story. Woven into the way we speak, we reveal what we care about, where we came from, who we are. It changes us as we change. More than ever, we now stand at a critical juncture, far beyond the natural pace of change. The world is losing languages at an alarming rate. They are being lost to the mundane, everyday pressures of money, violence, social prestige, climate change, and frayed community. As a global communication connects us to it also risks compromising our cultural core. Right now, almost 10% of the languages on Earth have fewer than 10 speakers. In embracing what brings us together, we threaten to erase what makes us special. What happens when a language is lost? The world takes another step towards the sameness, and we lose a shade of humanity. This may seem inevitable as we hurtle headlong into the singularity, but it is far from it. In order to fight this future, we must fight to understand it.
This is a game about language and how it dies.
In Dialect, we'll follow an isolated community through its beginning, rise, and end. We'll tell their story by building their language. New words will come from the fundamental aspects of the community, who they are, what they believe in, and how they respond to the changing world. Together, we will decide what they become.
Thank you. So now we're going to go to the backdrop. But first, Bethany, we did, since you hopped in a little late, I just want to say that we have the X card on the table. And did you get the Roll20 link?
No, I don't think so.
I just posted it into chat. That should work.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
You're so helpful. So we have the X card on the table, and since we'll be switching between Roll20 and here, I think the most effective way would be to just say X card or X, if you ever feel uncomfortable with anything. And then we also have Lions and Veils, which is in the folder, and I can also just put it in the chat again right now. So go ahead and add anything there if you'd like. And then, so we're going to look at the backdrop and do a similar thing that we kind of did with the intro and kind of read back and forth. I apologize for the very long intro. It is not usually this long, but since it is kind of adapted from the book, I wanted to give like a good flavor of kind of what the book is like. And a lot of the text is from the book. There's sections in the book that is called City Without a Map, and it has this particular style that works really well for this. So the kind of intro part and the age transition are all taken from those sections of the book. So, and then Bethany, after we kind of go through the introduction of the scenario, we're just going to have a discussion about like what tone we want for the game. So who wants to go first? And we'll start at, there is no map here. We can skip the synopsis of the book and go to the italic section.
There is no map here. All right, so you want to read from where?
So on the scenario sheet, so there's the title, the synopsis of the book, and then the little dotted line, and then the italics. So there is no map here. So the first person can like read that sentence, and then we can jump between like the different paragraphs like we did for the intro.
Okay. I have no problem like reading a few of the paragraphs and I'll stop it and someone can pick up. So
okay.
Can move through it. All right. So there is no map here. No map is needed. No manual, only stories, which is why I'm here. Quanok is an 8-arm asterisk east of Greenland, north of Iceland, built by a truly unruly alignment of Thai, Chinese, Swedish corporations, and government entities, part of the second wave of grid city construction, learning from the spectacular failures of several earlier efforts. Almost 1 million people call it home, though many are migrant workers who spend much of their time on boats harvesting glaciers for freshwater ice. Fewer and fewer of these as the price of desalination crystals plummets, or working on Russian petroleum rigs in the far Arctic.
So it's pronounced Kranach. So it's like the Q is like a K, but a little further back in the throat. At least that's how I think it's pronounced, because it's Greenlandic.
Quanok?
That's good enough.
All right, I'll try it. Nations burned and people came to Quanok. Arctic melt opened the interior for resource exploitation, and people came. Some of us came willingly, some of us did not. Quanok was not a blank slate. People brought their ghosts with them, soil and stones and stories from homelands swallowed up by the sea, ancestral grudges, incongruent superstitions. All cities are science experiments. Quinnock is perhaps the most carefully controlled such experiment in history, an almost entirely free press, minimal bureaucracy, mostly mechanical, the city overseen by benevolent software. The shareholders pay the taxes, and they can afford to. If food and rent cost far too much, that is between you and the merchant. Swedish is the most common language, and yet only 37% of the population speak it. There is no official language. There is no official anything. Quinnock has no government, no mayor.
No one rules Quinnock. No class or race reigns supreme. Not the Chinese laborers who built it, not the global plutocrats who could afford to get out of their doomed cities before they became hell on earth, not the successive waves of refugees who filled it. And while, of course, it technically belongs to the shareholders who lease the ground that every home and every business in Quinnock is built on and make obscene amounts of money with every minute that passes, they're invisible. You will play a community within this city. Whether they are united by language, culture, ideology, or profession, that is for you to decide.
So then a feature of Quinnock to consider is the breaks. No one knows where or when they got the name. The origin story is something banal. Most likely, they caused nervous breakdowns, full psychiatric breaks, irrevocable shattering of identity. Oldest known usage is found in transit camp correspondence, refugees using it colloquially enough to imply it had already existed in spoken dialogue. There is a deeper resonance to its persistence, a troubling question that arises if you stop to ponder it. Why do we still call it by such an informal name? Why has it not been replaced by something more scientific sounding, more medical, even if it were just an acronym? Sad as a flag of surrender, identity dissolution syndrome, or multiplicative affliction disorder. Epidemics do not have medical causes. They have social ones. So the breaks is an illness. And it can be transmitted like as a sexually transmitted disease and other ways. But
so it transmits and we don't know how. Is that
well it's definitely transmitted sexually, but I can't Noella can't remember if like specific other ways that it's transmitted.
Okay, cool. Fair enough.
So what kind of tone do you want to have for the game?
Knowing a little bit about this, and knowing a little bit about, well, I don't know much about this, but I know about dialect. I feel like in general having sort of like a dramatic, sad tone tends to fit well since we're talking about language and how it dies. So that's probably where I would be leaning.
I think I tend to agree. Like the tragedy of dialect is usually where it has really, really resonant story beats. If I could, I would ask, like, it seems like there's a lot of potential for like political allegory, and I would ask we like not go there, just as like a personal rub for me, if that's fair.
Works for me.
Is there anything you're specifically wanting to avoid?
I just don't want to like try and satire like American politics right now. Like
that's fine.
It's late at night and I'm not down for it this evening.
Yeah. Bethany, do you have anything you want to add?
No, and not being familiar with the game, I don't really have an opinion on, like, you know, what the best tone is for it. So
yeah, my 2 cents is yes, generally the kind of like dramatic sad tone, and also have potential for like lighter moments within the game can be fun too. So with that, we'll move on to kind of the world building part of the game, which is creation of the aspects, answering the community questions, character creation, and then naming the isolation. So first we'll do the aspects. So our first question is bonded. What connects you together? Blood, culture, profession, language, or something else? Sorry, I put profession in there twice. That's a typo.
It sounds like we've established like language cannot be the thing that we choose, right? Because there's fragmented language, right?
Well, it's a very like multilingual place. So I guess like within here, we're not trying to like play the entire city as isolation, but like a small community within the city. So we could be like a small group that speaks a certain language. Like there's lots and lots of different language that are like spoken in the city. That's what I meant by that.
Gotcha.
I kind of like profession, but
yeah, we can do that. What kind of profession?
yeah, I don't know. That was the but. I was like, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
My suggestion for that could be noodle sellers.
Okay. Noodle sellers. All right.
That being a popular food in the city.
Okay, so like we run like restaurants or food trucks or whatever the equivalent is.
Yeah, like noodle stands.
Okay.
So are we like, is this like a vertical market where like we control all aspects of like this industry, and like that's like a fragmenting piece of it? Like we're the only people who know how to grow this product that produces the noodles and then transport the noodles to the stands and all that jazz? Or is it like we are just the horizontal aspect of like we sell the noodles?
I was thinking we were more of just like, you know, the sellers, like the people who are working the stands.
It's for the frontline folk. All right, yeah. Cool. I'm down for that.
So looking at the tableau, I'll just write down noodle seller for that aspect. Oh, that's too small. Also, I will note that whenever I play this game using Roll20 and we discuss how Roll20 is not the best, I always blame Yoshi because he set this up, but I can't do that because he's here.
Can't blame Yoshi for Roll20's errors.
I mean, you can. I won't accept the blame, but you can totally try to blame me.
I will deflect for Yoshi as well because Roll20 is not Yoshi's problem.
Yes. So aspect generation question number 2 is controlled by rent. What floating vessel or dinghy space serves as your living spaces?
So I really like the idea, the imagery of like it's a flotilla of like ships or things like boats that all like come together and in irregular fashion constantly. Like every night it just changes. Like there's one central boat, and then in the morning all of us like noodle sellers like break off and go off into the city, and then we all come back to the thing. But like it looks different than it did before because we're all just individual boats.
Yeah, I'm into it. Like I think like the Blackfish City is like situated in the middle of this great ocean or whatever. And like by necessity, we have to disperse to either because there's like storms or waves or tides or things. But then we have to reassemble at the supplier, whoever is giving us the noodles, and then we have to redistribute to like places we could potentially sell these noodles. So we're like a strange, like almost food truck industry like that like knows the ins and outs of this place, but like has to avoid the dangers and downfalls.
What would be a good word to describe this, like the kind of like the breaking apart and coming together like every day?
I mean, there's like real English words that would fit, like fracture or something like that. I don't know.
The word that was coming to my mind that may not be appropriate is organic, because both it's like an organic like design and pattern that fits in there, as well as we might be playing off of the yes, we have all organic food, even if it's not.
We can do the organic flotilla. Is that good?
That sounds great.
Yeah. But David, I can unfortunately not see you doing any thumbs up because you have your video off.
Yeah, I have my camera off right now. I'll turn it on in a little bit. But yeah.
No worries. And then the last one is kind of whatever we want.
Do you got any ideas, Bethany?
No, I'm not even sure. Like whatever. What's the purpose of this thing we're coming up with? I guess is like the question. What are we going to do with it?
When we create words in the different like rounds, H1, H2, H3. So when we create a word, we have to tie it to an aspect. So this aspect will inspire the words we're creating.
So our two aspects right now are noodle seller and organic flotilla. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And those things will define our culture.
Yeah, okay. So one more thing that defines our culture, basically, is what you're...
Yeah. Would it help if we answered some community questions and came back to it?
Probably.
Yeah, we can do that. So with the community questions, every person answers one. So conveniently, there are 4. And luckily, we do not have a 5th person because I do not write a 5th question. So, Yoshi, you're the right-hand side on my screen, so I'll pick on you to go first.
How do we make money to survive? Well, we sell noodles.
Yes, that one's very easy in this case.
We sell the hell out of noodles.
We do. I was going to say, I feel like we have like, it's sort of like not only the monopoly, but like we have gotten to the point where like large portions of the community, like the other communities, rely on noodles as the primary calorie source.
this is true. Like in the book, noodles, very important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm into it. Like, I think, yeah, like this is what you do for most meals. If you have like extra change or money, like maybe you go and find some other food source. But if you're just regular old meal, you go get noodles. And I bet you we use the like salt water of the ocean to like season the noodles and cook them. Because hey, salt's good on noodles, right?
I love it. I'm into it.
David, I want to pick on you next.
You bet. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm looking for the question I'm supposed to answer, but I'm not sure which document I'm supposed to be looking at.
This is the same one that we just read off of. It's the one with city without a map in red on the top.
I gotcha. Okay.
So your
community questions?
Yeah, yours. What memories of home are we trying to forget?
Ooh, man. For the folks who are the community of these noodle sellers in this floating flotilla, we're trying to forget what it meant to live on solid ground.
And then Bethany, I'll pass it to you for number 3.
What criminal organization haunts the arm we live on and do you associate with them? Criminal organization. What would be on the same arm as noodles? The source of noodles.
Yeah, arm is basically like the part of the city. So when it say it's an asterisk, it's like there's 8 arms, and each one is like the neighborhood or whatever.
Okay. Cool. So what criminal organization? I think that the facilities that make like noodle ingredients are also really good for making drugs. So I think that this is like the source of illegal drugs for the city. And yeah, I don't think we can not associate with them because they use the same facilities. Like a lot of the places we buy noodles for, or like I guess the flour and whatever you put in noodles from, like they do in fact sell those ingredients, but they're mostly fronts for other things.
Yeah, I mean, we have a centralized distribution network. Like, what drug ring wouldn't get involved with that?
Right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, you know, some noodle sellers might also sell drugs on the side too.
I think it's great for distributing, or you know, yeah, definitely.
So then the last one is, how do we treat people with the breaks? So how do we treat people with this disease? And I think it's pretty easy to tell when someone is like down with the breaks because they act really erratically. And I'm going to say that we will still sell them food. We don't really talk to them or associate with it or associate them. Like, and if they get in trouble, we don't try and help them because we don't want to be associated with them. All right.
Sense to me.
So let's circle back around to that last community question. I mean, aspect.
Right.
So I have an idea.
Yes.
I totally think it should be about the drug trade.
No, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I was trying to think of something. And I'm like, well, no, that's kind of already covered by, you know, one of the other 2 things. But the drug trade is not. So
can we call it flour?
Yes.
Should we do Flour or Flower?
I don't know if it matters that much because when you say it, you know what it sounds like, you know?
Yeah. So flour, drugs. Great. So now we'll go into character creation. And in the folder, there is the most basic of basic character keepers. It is not very pretty. And this game doesn't really have very intricate character creation either. So I will just drop it in the chat in case you have trouble finding it. And so what we do for character creation is I will deal you 3 archetype cards each. And you'll pick one, and based off the instructions on the card, you'll make your character. So you should all have it now. And Yoshi, whenever I play this, you always show up as a player because you made it, but now you are actually a player.
Oh, do you have to be like super careful when you deal out cards to not give the Yoshi that's not there?
No, since you aren't online, it doesn't give it to you if I press all players, but you do show up in the drop-down box.
Well, good to know.
So we're selecting one of these, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, you select one of the cards. Also, one of the great things about this book is that there is a main character who has they, them pronouns.
Nice.
Yoshi, you don't have to type the whole archetype card in there. You can just like tell us what it is.
I do not have to, but I did.
Okay, do what you want. I won't stop you.
Hey, I'm the celebrity. I do what I want, and you guys all have to watch me do it.
Yes, yes,
That's
we
what I'm
do.
here for.
Yes.
You can't stop Yoshi.
Mm-mm.
Nobody puts Yoshi in a corner.
How's it going? Do you need a few more minutes?
I think I'm done. I don't know. I guess I'm done.
It looks good to me.
I'm set.
Yoshi, are you good?
I am wonderful and also finished.
Okay, so now we're going to introduce our characters. So, Bethany, can you start? Are you okay with that?
Sure. Yeah. Arvid is a so his archetype is explorer. I think what that really means is that he's easily bored, and he's just sick of being a noodle seller. He like it's a family business, and there were no really better options. So like this is what he does, but he hates dealing with hungry, annoyed people all day. So he's constantly looking for other options, and I mean, the other option would be to sell drugs to annoyed, addicted people all day. So that would be even worse.
Great.
I think we should go to me.
Okay.
So Bai is like on the tall side, large frame, definitely has like some weight on him, not like super muscular, kind of chubby type thing. I am the celebrity. So we all recognize you. Silence descends on any room you enter. Heads turn. People talk to you about the latest gossip. I mean, he's got short black hair, brown eyes, dresses in large, like flowing, loud, gregarious clothing, and that matches his personality of being loud and gregarious. He's a decent noodle seller, but he is a great drug seller.
Does he wear neon colored aloha shirts?
Yes, definitely. Like he always is into the brightest, loudest, latest fashion.
Great. I can go next. So my color is Tamak, and I am the artist. And I remember when New York fell, basically. So in the book, what happened was that there was a really bloody rent war, like between the landlords and the renters, and then also rising sea levels. So I remember that. And I am the artist, and what I do is like pasta art, you know, like kids do. So it has that childish charm. And some people love it, but other people, especially my fellow noodle sellers, think that it's a waste of food. Well, maybe not just noodle sellers, but people are split on this. Some people love it, and other people like you're wasting food. And I identify with the organic flotilla and noodle seller, and then flour is my muse because I am high literally all the time. And I'm sure I'm probably best friends with Bai. I probably slept with him too to get free flour. And I don't currently have the breaks, but my my high risk behavior certainly puts me at risk for it. Okay, David, I'll throw the ball to you now.
Okay, I am playing Zeno, and Zeno is a magician who has secrets and options. And if you are seeking some kind of solution that you cannot find through rational means, then I am the one that you should find. Very mysterious.
Great.
Keep it simple.
So now we get to name our isolation.
So like what I think of immediately is something that has to do with like the core or the rock or something that everything is based on, because like we supply the food. And so like even if it like for the city, like everything needs food.
Yeah. What pops into my mind is the web, but like a web of noodle, like because noodles to me kind of remind me of the like strings of a web, and it's like the connections.
Ramen Nation. I love it and hate it, but I am totally down for Ramen Nation.
Yeah, I think the problem is like we don't have a lot of agency. We get named by other people. Like we don't call our own name. So we might hate this title, but this is what we were like collectively known by. But I don't know. I'm open to other suggestions. That was kind of the inspiration for the Ramination.
I think it's perfect because I think you're right. Like, it's probably something that we're like, no, that's not what we're called. And then eventually just gave up. And now we call ourselves that too.
I bet some annoying teenagers gave us that name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. It's like, I don't even have ramen on my list of things I can sell you. This is not.
You have to go to buy stall for that.
Yeah, like
I am an Italian noodle seller.
Every time they come up to my cart, they're like, "You got some ramen?" And I'm like, "No, I have noodles." They're like, "Ramen? Just this. I have this." Like, that's ramen. And I'm like,
no, it's not. Okay, so we're about an hour in, so I'm going to say let's take an 8-minute break and come back at the 15. Bethany, in the folder, there's also a document that says dialect handouts, and that's basically like the one page, like the one sheet reference that has all the rules on it.
Cool, thanks. I had this game confused with Downfall when I signed up, so and then I looked at it today and I was like, wait, no, that's a different game. I've never played that one.
Well, I hope
otherwise I would have like read up on it, and yeah.
Well, I hope you have fun.
It's well, it's not that I didn't want to like. Yeah, it's not that I didn't want to sign up for it. It's just that like those
D words.
Right. So I like read the rules for Downfall.
Oh,
right?
I see.
So that's why I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, I think you can just go either in the middle or last, and you can watch us do it and learn that way.
Cool. I will do that.
So, Yoshi, you are back, right? Your camera's just off. Okay. So, I will deal everyone 3 cards from the Age 1 deck. And I'll just go first. So in creating a word, first we make a connection in that we take the card in our hand and kind of, it has like kind of the description of the kind of word, and then the red sentence at the bottom is for the scene. And so first we make a connection with an aspect, then we build a word where we talk about what the word should be, and the person whose turn it is has the final say in what the word is. I mean, I've never been in a game where we had like disagreements over what the word should be, but you as the person whose turn it is has the final call. And then we play a scene. Basically, if it's your turn, you pick a few characters to have a scene where they, based on the prompt on the card, where they use the new word. So I am going to, oh, also one more thing. There is a action that you can do at any time. You can create a variant of any word that we have on the table. And that'll be easier to understand if it comes up in play. But you can do it at any time, and you just discard one word from your hand, write it on the card, and put it down. So I'll go first, and I am going to do a word for wonderful, a vision of hope, milk and honey, and all that is good. May we fill our days with it. So I am going to connect this to flower, because unfortunately, I think a lot of happiness has to be artificially constructed through drugs, because this is a harsh world. So I'm not really sure exactly what I want the word to be. Possibly a pun off of something like, what just came to my mind was baked. Like, that's so baked. Like, so wonderful. You are so baked. What do you think?
I like the idea of where you're going. I think because we are noodle vendors, baked may not be the
Yeah.
right thing, but like steamed or things like that.
Steamed.
Yeah, I mean, or something,
Or,
something else, some other like correlation to flour and bread making, like maybe like rising. I don't know.
Yeah. Steamy.
Or stretched, because you can stretch noodles by hand.
Mm.
Yeah.
But if it should be a reference to flour, the drug, as opposed to flour, the noodle ingredient,
Yeah.
Maybe like pitched, like, you know, like you would pitch yeast, but like the way people use it colloquially is like, oh yeah, I'm so pitched right now. Like I've just had some flour thrown up at me. I don't know.
But yeah, so it's something that I think the word can definitely be used outside of the drug context, although it would probably come from there. Like someone who was high probably came up with this word. What just came to mind is powderful.
works.
Because it's both the drug and the food, sort of. Yeah. Powderful. That kind of sounds like powerful. Oh, I'm so funny. I'll put that on the table. Put the note card next to powderful. Okay, so now we'll do a scene involving a couple characters. These scenes can involve NPCs. If you want to do an NPC, either me or other players can play them. And so for this scene, I think that Tamak is talking to Bai, trying to seduce him to get drugs.
So where is this taking place?
I think that this is happening by Bai's noodle stand, but Bai is on break and somebody else is staffing the front, but it's by the stand.
Yeah. So I'm like,
I think you're kind of just doing your own thing, and I kind of come up to you. It's like, Bai.
Tamak, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And I think I kind of like grab your hands and do like a 2-hand handshake, like.
Yeah. I totally reciprocate, and I'm like, what brings you to my neck of the woods?
Oh, Bai, you know, it's so very powerful to see you always. I'm here to discuss an exchange.
Exchanges are my business. Exchanges are powerful.
Well, I was hoping we could mix a little business with pleasure.
That type of exchange. Now, don't get me wrong, Tamak. You are very powerful, but I do have to keep my reputation in order here. Like, if I didn't charge for my wares, then, you know, what kind of seller would I be?
Oh, Tamak, just think of it as a customer loyalty reward.
And I think like I like take my arm and like wrap it around your shoulders and like lead you back towards the thing. I'm like, Tamak, I like the way you think.
That's great. So Well, Bethany, do you have any questions so far?
I don't think so. Oh wait, I do actually. What's the deal with the ages?
So it's basically like 3 different rounds of the game.
Okay.
So once all 4 of us take a turn, then we will advance to the next age. So it's like another round.
Okay, cool.
So
kind of what I thought, but I was like, do you have to like use all 3 of your? Everybody uses all 3 of their cards, and then it's the age, or
no, we each just take one turn.
Cool.
We would be here forever if it was all 3 cards. Yoshi, I'm gonna go to you since you're on the right side of my screen.
Sure. I'm going to pick greeting. And so let me see. Let's see if I can do that. So greeting, how we greet one another, small rituals to open conversation that reflect who we are. It may differ based on who we say it to or when we say it. Meeting in an unexpected place. I think I'm going to tie it to the organic flotilla. And so like what I like the idea here is because everything is like happening different every time we meet together and do things like that. But like our boat is our livelihood, but we might not necessarily always have access to the outside. So like I like the idea of like the greeting being something like locked in or something like that, like a question type thing, and people can say like respond however they would want to. But like you know how like whenever you ask like when you talk to people and the greeting is like how are you, and people just always respond with good no matter how they actually are, like that's just the exchange that happens. I think that's sort of like what happens is like people say locked in, and then like the response would be some like what would be a good response for that, like no I'm free or something like that.
Could just say locked in.
Yeah, just locked in.
Yeah, locked in, locked in.
Either that or anchored.
Yeah, anchored I like. So I'm gonna make that smaller. Get up here. Cool. We don't really have the aspects on the outside, do we? Nothing. I'm just trying to like how I signify I'm tying it to anchor or to the organic flotilla, but that's okay. It's good where it is. Cool. And then the scene is meeting in an unexpected place. Bethany, Arvid, right? Is your character's name?
Yep.
And you're the explorer. So like, but you don't really want to be one. So like, I think maybe this is us meeting somewhere, and because like I'm a drug dealer and all those type of things, and you're an explorer. I think maybe like it's somewhere else. That's the unexpected place. So like it's not in either one of our noodle shops. It's like somewhere else, like in Blackfish City type thing. Do you think I would come upon you or you come upon me in this like weird place?
I'm not sure how much I want people to know that I'm like looking for other other jobs, other options all the time. So I think
You want to come upon me then?
No, I'm saying I'm thinking the other way around. Like you notice me first because I probably wouldn't say anything if I saw you.
Right. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think like what are you doing then? Like what does it look like when I come upon you then?
I'm walking out of a building where I was looking for a job.
Okay.
I'm not sure what the job was, but it definitely didn't involve selling things to hangry people.
Nice. Okay. So like I see you from across and like because this is all like Blackfish City, like is it an actual city or is it like lots of flotillas? Like what's the street look like?
It's an actual city.
Sweet. So like I think I just like run across the city and get to you and I'm like running across. I'm like Arvid, and I like get up too close to you and I'm like what do I say? I say locked in.
Locked in.
And I like you don't look very anchored. There's something that's bothering you.
I mean, is anyone ever really anchored?
I mean, we anchor every night and I'm like, look, you know me. If you need anything that ever like to take that edge off, like I've got your back, Arvid. Like we see each other all the time. Just here, come with me right now. Like, well, I've got something for you, and it'll make all of your worries go away. Then you'll be lock solid and anchored.
And I think I did not get that job. I just was looking for. So, like, yeah, sure. Fine. That is actually really being anchored and not just saying it automatically be a nice change.
I'm like, powderful. Come this way, and I think that might be the scene.
Yeah, I think so.
David, do you want to go?
Sure. I can go next. Let's take a look at our options here. Okay. Let's see. I like this card here for work. The card says, I'll read it again, now that it's so small. Oh my goodness. The isolation is no stranger to work and toil, our daily grind and duty. This is how we refer to that which must be done. And I think this is not. I think this is kind of a euphemism, like for work. You know, we always sell noodles, but I think like the real work we have to get up to is this unfortunate like drug trade that's infested all of our lives. So I think that's what it's tied to. It's not tied to noodle sellers. It's tied to flour and drugs. So, words for this. Any thoughts from folks?
Maybe something related to the actual process of like of producing the drugs. I'm not sure what exactly.
Pounding.
I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind for like that type of work is like hustle. Like you always got to be hustling.
Should be something nautical though.
Ooh, yeah. Maybe like fishing or something. Like if you're always looking for a buyer or something like
If you're looking
that.
for a buyer, yeah.
Or rowing, because you have to keep doing it forever. Like
Rowing would be like closer to hustling,
Yeah.
Like rowing.
Yeah.
Or even-
Also,
or not forever, but like you can't stop, or like the current will just take you back the way you came.
Yeah, like just to make it even like more obscure though, like the old term for like when you would have lots of rowers was sweeps. So I think we'll call it sweeping.
Nice.
Because that's also how you would clean up the powder, so you could make extra when you like collect all your little bits of powder, and you could sell it, all your flour. You know,
Yes.
you might be sweeping there. So it's always called sweeping. I like that.
Nice adding layers of opacity there.
Thank you. Let's do sweeping. So I should edit this card.
What you can do is just put text on top of it. So on the left-hand side, there's the eye or paintbrush, and you can just put like a little text box on top of it.
Okay. Oh, did someone just like copy and paste? Is that something I can edit or sweeping? I just saw sweeping show up. Whoever did that, thank you. That will work. Thank you very much. So that leaves us to our scene where we will be having a scene inspired by the work we must do and the toll it takes. That's pretty good. And I don't necessarily have to be in the scene, correct? I can...
No, you can throw it to other people.
Prescribe who I want to have the scene between.
Yeah.
That's good. I like that.
Yes, delegate it to other people. My favorite activity.
I want to have another one with our last two, Bai and Arvid. I want to see them doing this filthy drug trade.
Cool. Where do you think this takes place?
I think it takes place in the early morning when you have just gotten your supply of noodles and things, and you are just docking at the place where you would choose to dock because there's an open space that day. And it just so happens that the two of you have docked right near each other. And your first two customers are people who are not looking for noodles.
Yeah, so I totally am totally greeting them and showing them things, and like when they're talking about things, like definitely do like the wink and the nudge. I'm like, right, ramen, I've got you covered, and like totally going through the full like show of everything and making them feel real pleased about everything. What does it look like for you, Arvid?
Not like that. Every time I glance over, I'm like, I'm jealous of your like just ability to just to like first I'll immediately pick up what they want, and then like be kind of just like smooth and friendly about it without ever actually saying what you're doing. Yeah, I think they show up and I'm like, I don't have ramen.
No, and there's this one guy who's just filthy. Like he clearly doesn't have enough money for like food, or shouldn't have enough money for food or anything. Right. And he's like, no, I don't think you understand. And he's like banging on your boat a little bit. He's like, hey, I don't think you get it. Like, I'll take the sweeping, like whatever you got, I'll take it all. Like anything, just off the floor. I don't care. You gotta help me. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I think I don't usually have a lot. I think I do have like the sweeping off the floor, because I don't. I'm not a particularly successful drug dealer. Like, I'm actually better at selling noodles, and I'm not good at that. But yeah, I'm happy to sell it to them. So you're. Oh, you mean like the actual sweeping, like the literal? Yeah. Okay.
The faster you can get it me, the better, please. And he looks over.
How much you need?
Whatever you got here. And he just like slams whatever the currency is like down. He's like, please.
Yeah, sure. I will. I give him whatever he paid for, like as much as he paid for. I'm not picky about who my customers are.
Yeah, and I think I watch you like finish the whole transaction, and I come up to you like after they've left. I'm like, Arvid, you've got to learn how to be a better sweeper, how to handle this. Like, it's a skill that you need to build, and you can realize. I mean, you actually gave him what he paid for. Like, that. Nobody does that. Could you not see how much he needed it? Like, you could have given him a quarter of what you gave him, and he would have just. I mean, he may have looked askance at you, but like, he needed that, and you would have gotten away with it. You gotta think here, Arvid.
Well, this way. I mean, this way, if anyone asks him where he got it, he can tell them that I gave him more than he expected, and maybe some others come to my boat.
You just see it that way, but you now realize all of those dustbins there are always going to just want to come to you, because you're actually going to give them what they want. I care about the more premium customers. You can have all those dustbins you want.
I mean, I don't care who their money is as good as anyone else's.
Arvid. I'm just, you know what? That's all right. You do you, Arvid. You do you.
And I think, like, as you're saying that, somebody walks up to Bayou's boat and is like, it's someone who's like more put together on their way to work, but looks like their eyes are a little bloodshot or something.
Yeah, I'm like,
That's like one of your.
Yeah, and I go up and like schmooze, and I'm like, and just like totally like nonchalantly like get him what he needs, and like just everything. And I come back after the transaction, I'm like, see, Arvid, that's how you sweep.
Yeah, and he paid this guy paid like $10 for the same equivalent of what you just got like 25 cents for. The really messed up part is both of you made a profit.
Yeah. Yeah. So well, that's fine. You get that kind of sweeping, and I'll get the like literal actual sweeping, the dust off the floor.
Yeah. And I just put an arm around you. I'm like, Arvid, this is going to be a beautiful relationship.
Oh my god. Okay, I think
well,
that's
we're not
good.
in competition, because like, yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, Bethany, it's your turn now.
Okay, cool. So I just pick any of these cards and okay.
Yes.
Cool. Because why not? I'm gonna death. Yeah, our language for ultimate loss. So I think this is probably this might be a nautical one too, like something to do with drifting out to the sea, or
ooh, like a derelict, like a broken boat.
Yeah, like just I like the idea, like the connotations of being alone and beyond help, if that makes sense.
Man.
So
Yeah, like SOS or something.
Yeah, lost at sea.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do like the acronym, like it could be LAS or a lot LAS, like for lost at sea.
Lost at sea. Yeah, LAS, LAS. Yeah, that actually, that's fine. That would work. So our word for ultimate loss is LAS, just spelled differently.
Yes.
I'm totally on board with that one. Oh, you got it. Okay.
So yeah, I edited the note card for you. It's kind of down in that right-hand corner. So who do you want to be in the scene?
Who has not been in a scene? Or so actually, let me look at the names of the characters. It's
in that spreadsheet. I was just going to say, who are you looking for?
Actually, Zeno. Okay. I think is a good option here. Because yeah, like last resort sort of situation, he would be the person to go to, or she would be the person to go to. And I don't know who else. Let's see. Do I even want to be in this scene? Actually, I don't think I do. I think it's Tamak and Zeno.
So the idea that I have is that perhaps this is in the night, so we would be like latched together, and I think Zeno and Tamak are near each other, and I wake up from nightmares and then have a conversation with her.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Xena's boat is one of those like bayou boats that always has it has that little cabin on it, and there's always light coming out from it. Like Xena's always awake, or whatever.
I think you hear me screaming.
Yeah, and I like I just kind of reach my hands in the water and give you the fingertips of water to like kind of startle you awake without getting you too wet. They're there now. Come on, Tamak. Locked in.
I was back in New York.
New York, Shanghai, Singapore, Barcelona. So what? We've seen it all. We've seen it all. We've seen it all above the water, and we've seen it all below the water. You and me. We're more than this. We don't have to worry about that, lass. We're beyond that.
I think I come onto your boat and kind of like into your little, like the little room. And I say, will you read the cards for me?
Tamak, of course I will. But you know it never gives you any pleasure. It always upsets you. Come on. Are you sure you would rather do some sweeping? Come on, I have some. It's right here.
No, that's for the morning. This time
It'll get you back to sleep, I'm just saying.
Read the cards. Read the cards.
As you wish. And I think it's a standard deck. It's not a it's not like a card reading deck. It's just a regular bicycle deck of playing cards. Just flipping it out. Oh, well. See there now. Queen of Clubs. Queen of Clubs comes up for you very often. You notice that.
She follows me.
She is you. This is the thing to take hope in. Come on now. We're in Blackfish City. You are the Queen of Clubs, the Blackfish Queen. You have to stop seeing it as an ill omen. I don't see it as an ill omen. You think you can read the cards better than me?
Of course not. You summon her. I watch in fear.
I don't summon her. You see the worst in everything. Come now. I've never had someone so lass about everything that is going on around them. Now, take comfort in the fact that you are... This is you. This is your card. I do not control the cards. I merely interpret them. This comes up every time. Here you are in the city. Look there. Another jack and another queen. Up there, pursuing you. You. For, well, it looks like as they are the jack and the queen of hearts, romantic interests. So you have your pick.
Yeah. Okay, I think I kind of point at the jack of hearts, and I was like, I know who this is.
Well, sure, he's one-eyed, but...
Do you think me and Bai have a chance at a future together?
Well, he's not one-eyed, but maybe. He's quite powerful, I'm just saying.
Lots of money.
Are you sure I can't just say, let's do a little sweeping and call it a night and have some sleep? Honestly.
Sure.
There it is then. Let's do away with these cards. I'm glad I've calmed you. Here. I have it right here. And I think we can fade to black there.
Thanks. Great. Okay, so that's the end of age 1. So we're going to go through the age transition process and check the order. Okay, so we're going to transition to the next age, and we're going to pick one of the transitions. So on the scenario sheet that we read from earlier, there are 2 different paths that we can take for the future. And the one we decide now will follow us through the rest of the game. So I will read the 2 different options, and then we'll pick which one you like the most. So the first one, the left column, you are bound to your body. Your body is shaped by its DNA, your parents' decisions, historic hate and hunger, contested elections, the rise and fall of the stars in the sky. Maybe your body is an awful place. Maybe, like me, you are there through no fault of your own. One day, you will break free of your body. Every one of us will. Until that great liberation comes, we must be content with the little liberations. The shiver up the spine, the telltale tingle of a beautiful song. Great sex, a good story. And I'll just say that these transitions are a little more oblique than other dialect backdrops just because they are parts of City Without a Map in the book. So, yeah. And then the red column is, do not talk about the past here. Do not ask your neighbor why they left where they are from. Do not expect your newfound friends to wax nostalgic for homes that no longer exist. Perhaps the past holds more than merely pain for you, but you can't assume that that is true for everyone else. We want to smell it, taste it, hear its songs, feel its desert heat or summer rain, but we do not want to talk about it. The things we've been through cannot hurt us here, unless we let them. The fallen cities, the nations drowned in blood, the cries of our loved ones. Those stories we lock away. We need new ones. So which path would you like to go down?
So to be honest, I don't really understand them.
Well, unfortunately, that's sort of all of it, but I will, so the left column, the black text, the way that I put it together leans more towards like external conflict, as in maybe there's like conflict between people. And then the right-hand column I saw as being more of like internal conflicts in the characters and like the traumas of the past come up.
Okay. So what's the event that foreshadows the end of the isolation? So like, is there a specific external conflict and a specific internal conflict?
Well, we would kind of create that in the game, but yeah, the left-hand side is a little more of like people conflicting with each other, and the right-hand column more of people falling apart internally.
I mean, as a drug dealer, I could get behind both of those. So
looking at them, it looks like the right hand one is like, we don't want to talk about the world outside of Blackfish. And the left hand one is more like, we want to have this like extra bodily sensory experience, but like we don't have it yet. So the right one seems like more easy to like come up with like what might occur, like a ship could sail up or something. I mean, like,
sure, we can do that.
Demand like we acknowledge the world that once was, or something like that. I don't know. That one seems easier to me. I'm not sure how we would engage with the left one, though. It is really interesting. If you have an idea for the left one, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, for the left one, I think it would be more like perhaps like an internal like war between different people, or like fights breaking out. And then so I'll just say that like there are definitely people coming in and out of Connacht all the time, but this would be something like challenging the isolation of this particular group of people within the city. I apologize for it being kind of abstract.
So I guess I have an idea. I'm just like not sure which of them it is, but Yeah, all that really cheap flour I've been selling attracts more people from other parts of the city who like sort of bring their own culture and their own like issues into like our neighborhood.
I think that could be the left-hand side. And part of it is like with the actual text of the first transition is like, trying to escape the harshness of reality.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So, are David and Yoshi, are you okay going down that route? So let's evolve an aspect now. So which one should we evolve?
I mean, to me, the two obvious ones are noodle seller or flour, because the reason why they're obvious to me is that noodle seller is suddenly noodles are not really the important thing that most people sell anymore. Before it was mostly noodles with some drugs, but now I feel like it might be lots of drugs with some noodles.
Yeah.
And I could see either noodle seller or flour being the thing that changes.
Yeah, except for those poor, honest noodle sellers like Arvid.
Arvid's the problem, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I started it by selling. The problem is I'm an honest drug dealer.
You wanted to be an honest noodle seller, and then you became an honest drug dealer, and it's just
Right.
blown the market.
I am bad at selling stuff. I'm telling you. That's why I need to find a different job.
Arvid, if you just listen to your good buddy Bai, everything would be fine.
It's all last now.
I think we should upgrade flour to something like, I don't know, flour dealers.
Yeah. I'm good with upgrading flour.
Just because I feel like if we upgrade noodle seller, it might make flour redundant.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So do we need to come up with a term for it, like beyond flour?
Yeah. But it could be something like flour dealers. Doesn't have to be super intricate.
I was just trying to think. So the thing I was thinking of is instead of like flour from bread, going to flour like the plant and just like it budding or something like that, or growing.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Maybe people ask like when they show up, they're like, "Well, are you a noodle seller?" And they're like, "Yeah." Well, are you a florist? Yeah. Maybe
Yeah,
that's the question. I don't know.
We could do florists. Are the rest of you okay with that?
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I kind of want to just spell it wrong and spell it flowerists.
Let's see here.
Maybe they don't know what florists are. I mean, it's all ocean out there. They've never heard of a florist.
It's not been that long.
Some people have, but like the young kids haven't.
Okay, let's make sure everybody hasn't. Yoshi, why do you have two story two cards?
Because I dealt myself one because you hadn't dealt me one yet, and we dealt it to me at the same time.
Oh. Can I get you to discard one of your story 1 cards then?
Yeah, sure. I'd actually rather discard one of my story 2 cards.
That's fine. And so now, before we jump in, if anybody wants to discard and get another age 2 card, you can. Bethany or David, do you want to discard and get another age 2 card? Are you good?
I like mine.
Yeah, mine's fine.
Okay, so for this round, we're gonna go around the other way. So it'll be Bethany, David, Yoshi, then me.
Okay. So, so I use the story 2 card.
You can use any card in your hand that you want.
Oh, okay, cool. Let me read these again. Okay, I'll do this one. Okay. Trying to click on it. There we go. Just want to resize it so that it's actually readable. Oh, that's why I have the text tool instead of the arrow tool. There we go. Yeah, so vital resource for the isolation. Without it, we'd be truly lost. Explain what this resource is. So I think it's something used to make the flour. Because the demand for it's growing. Like, there was never really a shortage of it before, but now there is. Don't know what it would be called, or what it actually is, let alone what it would be called. What is the main ingredient of our drugs?
I kind of like the idea, since we're out like in the middle of nowhere, that maybe it's like some sort of mushroom or moss or something like that.
Yeah,
something like that we grow.
An easier thing that occurs most places.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, like it's something that would occur naturally in small amounts, on our like old boats, just in like maybe it is a fungus that just grows in like dirt that accumulates on the in the corners here and there, but it takes work to extract it, and there's not a ton of it, so we're actually running low on this fungus that grows in dirt. I guess the word would be what this thing is called. So, I mean, if this is what we make flour out of, maybe it's some sort of grain reference.
Wheat
or cereal.
Cereal. That's fun.
Term for grain.
I need some cereal.
Noodles and cereal, right? Sounds so wholesome.
Makes sense.
Wait. Does that work for everybody?
I got it. I put it. Yeah, it
cool.
Works for me. I got it. I put it on the card.
Yeah, I guess we need a scene for that, right? So let's see. I think 2, 3. So I think Arvid is in this one, and I think, I think Arvid and Bai are in this, and the thing is that like Arvid sees an opportunity, like, oh, there's work to be done in just like getting this raw material, and that's a lot easier than selling it. So yeah, I'm gonna like switch to like gathering it and extracting it, and guess where all of my former customers who expect like what they actually paid for and are also like the most broke, starving people who, yeah, guess where they go now.
Not to buy. I shuffle them off to other places, but I still get harassed by them. And so
Right.
this is probably me coming to you. I'm like, Arvid, we have to talk.
Yeah.
I understand that you're getting into the cereal business instead of dealing with flour and dealing with the customers, but you've got to learn some better business practices, because the way you left your customers stranded like that, that's not good for anybody. And if they keep trying to come after me and harass me for the quality that and the quantity that you used to give out, we're going to have to talk here, because I'm doing some favors for you already, whether you recognize it or not.
First, I am learning better business practices. I'm getting out of the part where I decide how much to charge people. There's nobody else that will sell to these guys? What?
Nobody, I mean, there are people who will sell, but there's nobody who wants to sell them. And you're the one who brought them all here, Arvid.
I didn't want to sell to them either. That's why I'm doing this now.
Look, I think I know a guy. I might be able to get rid of these folks, but I feel like if I'm gonna do that for what you're doing, maybe you could cut me a deal on the next batch of cereal you got.
Yeah, that seems fair. I'm learning how to extract the cereal from dirt a little faster. So,
Good.
come see me next week, and yeah, absolutely. You've always helped me out, and you've always, you've never run me off for like competing, not because we weren't really, well, we were competing in the noodle business.
No, you were right first. We were never really in competition.
So, yeah, sure. But right now I'm still learning, so it takes a long time. But
well, uptick in production is what I heard, and that is powerful. So I will be back next week. I hope you stay anchored, and yeah. I think I just like walk out.
Yeah. And I kind of like turn around like powerful, just like.
Okay, David, it's your turn.
All right, let's take a look at the cards I have right now. I don't want to do that one. Okay. Let's see. I want to play the future. And I think that like a great contingent has adopted a meaning for this that has to do with noodle selling and not drug dealing or flower dealing, whatever you want to refer to it as. They want an honest living. So how we refer to what is yet to come and what it means to us. This may be an important event in the future or future as a broad concept. We have different visions. So maybe this has to do with like legitimacy as like legal sellers of a product and not like drug sellers. Maybe there's some ambiguity in there. I don't know. Maybe the noodle sellers have like the vision of being like the granary or the bread basket or something like that. Maybe that's what they think of themselves as.
I like the bread basket.
So bread basket seems like that's what we got. Any other thoughts on that concept? Let's go with that then. That's good. See if I can figure out how to do this note card thing.
Do you need assistance?
Probably. I see that there is a note card near the card that I placed down, but when I click on the eye icon on the left-hand side, it's all grayed out and I can't do things.
You should. I mean, it's all grayed out for me, but you should still be able to select one of the options.
So if I hover over the eye, then I can a flyout menu comes, and then I can select text. The other thing you could do is you can just click on the arrow in the left thing, and then you can grab another text box and just copy it and paste it with Control C, Control V.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a way to make those text boxes off of the eye, but I can select these and I can. Looks like I can copy. Yeah, I can copy them. But yeah, okay. Good to know I can copy these. Thanks. I did not have that option out of the eye icon for some reason. Look at that. Okay. Well, bread basket. That's our word. Our words. And our scene is inspired by the idea that we have different ideas for the future, different visions for the future, which I think is appropriate. And, you know, let's just have everyone in this scene. I think everyone's got a different idea kind of for what the future's about. Just have a little powwow with everyone. See what they think. Try and keep it too short so it doesn't go too long. But
I think I am like, not literally, but I'm like hanging on by. So that's why I'm there.
Yeah, and I'm going on about like, this is great. All of the people coming in, more people want what we have to offer. This is just making everything so much better. We can make all of the money, like just on and on.
Tamak, Baya, I don't think you understand what we're trying to do here.
We're trying to make a lot of money off of everybody else's addiction. That's what we're trying to do.
Trying to legitimize. Right? Right, Ovid?
Whoa. If we go legitimate, that's going to like tank our revenue.
And I think I'm just kind of in the corner, and I think Zeno can like hear. Zeno notices when I say this, but I don't know if anybody else says. I was like, enough clubs to get away from her.
Ovid, come on. You know the economics. Breadbasket. That's what we want, right?
Maybe someday for some people. I'm for the first time in, since I was old enough to work, I'm actually kind of satisfied with what I'm doing now. So I'm not looking for any change right at the moment. You can talk about bread baskets, but like, I mean, I don't think a breadbasket future is any better. Like, either way, we're selling something to people who need it from us, and so.
All right then. What I hear y'all saying is, you think your breadbasket's gonna be powerful. You think your breadbasket's gonna be full of something you could actually fill your belly with. But you're not quite sure yet. I'm telling you. Even you, Bai. Even you. In the corner there.
Hey, my bread basket is gonna be powerful. I can tell you that. I'm gonna make sure that it is.
I know you think that, but I'm telling you, it's unsustainable. That's the whole idea behind the breadbasket economy.
As long as Arvid's providing the cereal, I can make the breadbasket go on and on.
I know as a product you can, but as a consumer, it's unsustainable. People can keep eating bread, right? They can't. They can't keep having the powder. They can't. They'll go last if you're not careful.
They can go last. What you don't understand is our customers, that's actually for us an inexhaustible resource.
You and your people, I can't hardly stand you all. Don't come to me next time you're looking for a better solution. I gave you mine. The breadbasket was the future. You've seen your own. I take my leave.
Cool. So question, is breadbasket, does that mean future or does that just mean a particular future?
I think it's the like utopian future.
Okay.
And we each have our own idea of what breadbasket is.
Yeah. Cool. I like it. So then me. I am going to do portmanteau. And I think it's going to go over here. And I think I'm going to copy that one because, all right, well, let's read this out. So, portmanteau. Action. Concepts we hold dear combine. Two words placed into both halves of a suitcase and packed into one. Make connection, pick a previously defined word, build a word, combine the words together, or pick two previously defined words. Combine the two words together, define the meaning of this new combination. Example, smog is a combination of smoke and fog, and some other stuff. So I'm picking powderful and cereal, and we're going to combine them to pouse. That makes any sense? I was trying to figure out how to make something that was pronounceable. And this is sort of like how in marijuana, like something is chronic. It is just a word that describes like it being really good at what it is. And so like, I think this is like that is like when somebody is looking for house ramen or the ramen that like that's what they're looking for is like the drug that really does it well type thing. The scene is changed too fast for some. So I think maybe this is who would this be? Maybe it's Tamak and me? Is it Tamak and Bai? Or is it maybe Arvid?
Well, I had an idea for us to do a scene, so why don't you put me with somebody else?
All right. So let's see. Maybe like I haven't done anything with Zeno, much with Zeno. We're at two opposite ends, Zeno.
It's true. It's true.
All right. I think actually maybe it's again Arvid and me. And I think I come to you like this is later. Like you told me to come back. I'm like, so I think I started like just reading like locked in.
Anchored.
Good. That is what I like to hear, Arvid. Everybody knows that you've got the most pouse sweeps there is, and I'm here to capitalize on that. You got my supply ready?
Yeah, it's a little less than you asked for, but it is Pouse stuff.
I mean, if it's Pouse, then I can make something out of it. I'll just I'll let people know that things are a little bit short, and you've got it. Like Arvid, I know Zeno was going on about the breadbasket that she wanted, but you and me, we're making the right breadbasket here.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, Zeno can talk about unsustainable, but what's sustainable really? Nothing. This is as good as anything else, and there's business has been picking up so much. I mean, I don't see any end to it. I think Zeno is just paranoid.
Don't you worry at all, Arvid. Let Bai take care of you. This is Pouse, and I think like I take the supply, and I'm just like, I'll see you in a week.
Stay anchored.
You too. Stay anchored.
Okay, so it's my turn. I am going to play euphemism. Some things need tactful phrasing. Concept in the isolation related to one of our words is only broached in euphemism. So I'm going to connect this to loss being like death. And I am going to kind of make this not quite the same, but it's like a related concept. And so this is going to be a euphemism for having the breaks. And it's, my idea is drowning. So it's funny because it's like a word for like actual death, but referring to something that's not death, but like death. So like if someone had the breaks, you would say they're drowning. And so I'm going to do the scene with Tamak and Bai, and so sorry, I was distracted by this conversation in the chat window. So I think Tamak has contracted the brakes, and I think Bai has like gone looking for them, because I assume we have some level of friendship with benefits going on, and so it's the scene starts when Bai finds Tamak like I think not quite in like a drug den, but like in like laying down in an alleyway.
So I think I find you, and I just like sort of like slap you like the face to wake you up. Like, Tamak, what are you doing here?
Oh, why she's after me?
Tamak, you are
Queen
not.
of Clubs. Like,
you.
Oh.
You are not anchored. You are drowning.
I think I'm like, and then I start like switching between, like I'm like clearly having visions, and like I start babbling things about like things that have clearly have not happened to me, like things that happen. Like I say, like the wave is coming. It took out the houses. The stocks crashed.
Oh, sweetie, you got to come with me, and like we got to get you out of here, someplace dry, someplace where you don't have to drown so much.
And I think I just kind of like latch onto you.
Yeah.
See, Bai can be nice. Okay, so this is the end of age 2. So I will read the next one. Again, I apologize for them being not so clear, but I wanted to use like parts from the book. So we can loosely interpret this and kind of go in whatever direction we want. So, City Without a Map, Alternative Intelligences. City Hall, they called it at first. The early arrivals who still remembered the old models of municipal governance, mayors and city councils, legislative and executive branches, as administered by frail and earnest humans. Their mandate was to create a system of computer programs that would do the work of government better than they ever could. Something invincible, immune to bribery or bigotry, knee-jerk decisions or politically motivated ones, making the right call of whether it was an election year or a sex scandal was about to be exposed, or the waste treatment center had to go in the rich part of town. The nickname stuck, as in, you can't fight City Hall. Of course, everyone knew it was bullshit. Programs can only be as objective as they are programmed to be. And so I guess in this part, maybe there can be a little interference from authorities, as laissez-faire as the city may be. So the question I'll ask now, which I'm sorry I forgot to do this in the first age, was how much time do we want to have pass between now and age 3? I guess between age 1 and age 2, I think it was probably like a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And this can be as however long we want it to be.
Like maybe jump ahead a few months to a year, maybe.
That sounds
Not
good.
like a long time, but enough time for things to have changed.
Yeah. Are you guys good with that? So now we'll evolve an aspect again. So which one do you think we should evolve? I have an idea. So right now we have organic flotilla, and I think it might be interesting to evolve that, and like thinking that maybe like some of the florists have gotten themselves into like nice have gotten themselves into like nice apartments. So those spaces are now more of those defining places. We're not slumming it. Well, we still are slumming it, but Bai is not slumming it anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like there's a few, and because there's a few who have like moved to, you know, apartments that aren't dispersed every day. I think a lot of other florists kind of have started to aspire to that.
Yeah. So I'll just write that as apartments. And then I will move Noodle Cellar and Florist into the inner circle. So does anybody want to discard and get another age 3 card?
Yeah, I'll keep mine.
I'm good with mine.
Yoshi, what about you?
I think I want to discard my age 3 card and get a different age 3 card. I don't particularly like that one.
Okay. I will give it to you. So usually for age 3, I popcorn for who goes. Does anybody, David or Yoshi, do either of you want to go first? Yoshi, I'll pick you. Your microphone was on.
All right. I guess my microphone is on, so I'll go. guess I'll use this age 3 word. All right, I'll figure it out. We'll throw it out there. It's fracture.
Oh man.
Fracture, an action. A group defines itself by not using one of our words. Make a connection. Pick a previously defined word. Explain why a group has stopped using this word. Skip the build a word phase, and in the conversation, explore the fracture. I think
we lost David.
Cool.
His powers. I think he said there's some kind of storm going on.
Oh, hopefully he'll come back then. We'll see.
Yeah, let's just wait a minute.
Yeah.
Give you some thinking time.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's keep going, and then when David jumps back in, we'll tell him what happened.
Cool. So fracture. I think the word I'm picking is drowning, as a euphemism for breaks. And I think like with the apartments that have sort of like developed, like there's a bunch of like slums that are going with it, and so you get all these people who have the breaks just trying to get some drugs and stuff to like stave off symptoms and things. And so like a lot of people are talking about the drowned and the drowning that's going on here. And then there's a bunch of people who like I think Bai is one of them. Like the people who have money and like want to like they don't want to refer to as the drowned. They're like, no, these people have the breaks, and like we need to deal with the problem, because if we don't talk about it, we won't actually solve it. Cool. So the conversation starter is rifts made permanent. So who would be arguing with Bai about this?
Maybe Arvid?
Do you think Arvid? Do you think you'd be arguing with Bai about this? Like, would you want to call those people, like talking about them as drowning, or like?
I don't think Arvid feels strongly about that either way.
We could also do it with an NPC.
Cool. So, I guess who would care about using the euphemism drowning still?
Zeno, but she's not here.
Yeah. I mean, like in general, people who
maybe my mom.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah.
Because I think maybe you like, I'm like staying at your house.
Sure.
And like you are like arguing with my mom over what to do with me.
Cool. I'm like,
yeah, I'll be my mom.
Look, your kid has the breaks. There's nothing. You gotta accept that.
No, my child would not acquire such a dirty disease.
Do you not understand what goes out here in the breadbasket of
Look,
Blackfish City?
Look, Tomas is ground. You just need a little help, and everything will be okay.
Once you're drowned, you don't come back from that. You have to break.
No, don't say that word.
That's what it is. That's the breaks. You can't come back from that. You deal with it, and the only way to deal with it is to accept that that's what you have and to deal with it properly. Ignoring it behind some euphemism, some word that disguises and masks what it is, that's not helping anyone. That's not helping to mock. Do you really love your child? Because if you did, you would recognize the problem that they have.
I think David's internet's out.
Okay. Well, I feel like that's probably where that scene ends anyways.
Yeah, I feel like this argument is just going to keep going in a circle.
Yep.
As many of these arguments do.
Yep.
I can go next. So, where's my cards? Oh, I have a good idea. So I'm going to do perceptions, and I'm going to kind of play on the words a little bit. So perceptions, action. Using this word carries a weight. When we say it, people form an image and it changes what they think of us. Play on a previously defined word. Explain how it uses this word. Changes others' perception of the speaker. Skip build a word phrase. Shaping our own future. So, here we go. I'm going to do bread basket, and I'm gonna it's still kind of like playing off that idea of the the utopian future. I'm gonna say that you can now use this as an expression of love. You are what's a good way to put this? You are my bread basket. What's a good way to use this in a sentence?
Something like I want to, maybe just turn it into a verb. I want to breadbasket with you. I want to have a happy future together.
Yeah, that's so cute. So this scene will be by and Tomas, and I think at this point I'm not doing so good. Death is probably not so far off. I mean, it's not immediate, but I don't think I'm probably only gonna last like 6 more months at the most. So I think like this is like Bai comes home and I'm kind of sitting. Actually, it's strange because I'm lucid. I'm not in a fit.
Hey, dear.
Hi.
Today is a good day, isn't it?
Yeah. I think I just just go over and hug you.
Yeah, I hug you back. Mike, I don't know about your mom.
She's always been stubborn. She said her dad died of pneumonia. She maintained that it was just a cough until the day he died. Why can't I can't ever repay you for what you've done for me.
You don't have to. I mean, I've told you before, I'll tell you again. Just want a beautiful breadbasket with you.
I think I just start to cry and I say, I'll be last soon.
Maybe. But until then, let's try to get as many good days as we can.
I think that's good. Oh, it's so beautiful. Even the drug dealer has, even the schmucky drug dealer has a good side. Okay, Bethany, throw it to you.
Let's see what I have here. All right. Make that even bigger so I can actually read it. Yeah, so what we bring in, they start as whispers, but they grow voices that aren't our own, gaining prominence in the community. Pick a previously defined word and explain why a foreign word for that concept has infiltrated our language. So, we have to replace an existing word. So I think powderful is the one I want to replace. Because this is a word that was like created back when we were mostly actually real noodle sellers. And like drug sales, you know, like that was it was a lucrative but like still kind of new. But now it's just like that's just sort of really mundane, ordinary. We're used to it, so I don't think powderful has a whole lot of meaning anymore. So let's see. There are who are the outsiders coming in? That's a good question.
I mean, I feel like the outsiders are all the other people from Blackfish City.
Yeah. You know, maybe there's like an influx of kind of ambitious young people wanting to capitalize on this drug dealing thing, right? Like they're ambitious, but they don't. They're kind of like Arvid in that they don't really have any great options where they live. So they're like, oh well, I'll just go over there and join the florists and sell flour. But yeah, they bring with them their own foreign word for powderful. And it says build a word, make a new word to replace. So what is the creative word rule?
Basically, you just make up a whole new word to mean the same thing. So like,
okay.
Wonderful was the original like concept that we're trying to replace. So just another word that means wonderful.
Okay, cool. We're in the Arctic, in this city in the ocean. So
Yeah.
something to do with warmth or sun might
Yep.
be a good word for wonderful.
Yeah, the city is heated. It's on like a geothermal vent, so that's how it's heated.
Okay, so maybe sun rather than warmth, because like it's dark a lot here. So yeah, something to do with light. Maybe just daylight. Because
Sure.
like the summer when it's warmer and there's a lot more activity and people are out all times of the day and night. It's kind of exciting. I think that maybe that's.
I mean,
that's a good replacement.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would suggest modern actual slang of like, "Yo, that was lit."
Good point. Yes, that was lit.
We can do that.
Sure. Cool. And let's say, okay, so our scene is an honest mistake, and it may have outsiders. Okay. This mistake with outsiders, maybe with outsiders. So I think this is by and an outsider who is I think that maybe by kind of wants them to like replace Arvid, like take that portion of the business so that he doesn't have to deal with it anymore. But this new person is like even worse at it. So I think the honest mistake was probably made by the new person. Maybe they're just like really overconfident and think that this is going to be really easy because it doesn't seem that hard. You just sell stuff to people from your little boat and everything's good, right?
I can be the NPC.
Okay.
Look, buddy, I know you're new here, but you said you had some retail experience.
Yeah, man. I have so much experience. Look, the 2-for-1 deal is a great way to get new customers. It's totally lit.
I'm like, buddy. Look out there. Do we need new customers? That's not our problem. Yeah, maybe the 2-for-1 was a great way to draw people in, and maybe it was lit out there, but here, it's not. You gotta understand your customer base.
I think that's good if you're okay with that.
Yeah, I'm good.
Noella also does not have a good response.
That's fair.
Okay. Horzino has been lost at sea.
Yep, Zeno is last.
Pour one out for Zeno. So now we'll do the legacy, and so we're going to transition to the legacy. The last moments or the aftermath. And unfortunately, we didn't really go this way, but I'll read it anyway. Savage, bloodthirsty monsters. We want villains. We look for them everywhere. People to pin our misfortunes on, whose sins and flaws are responsible for all the suffering we see. We want a world where the real monstrosity is wicked individuals, instead of being a fundamental facet of human society, of the human heart. Stories prime us to search for villains, because villains can be punished, villains can be stopped, but villains are oversimplifications. So now I will give us all...
See, bi is not really a problem. Villains are oversimplifications.
Well, I think here we kind of have multiple villains that are both people and like things. Like, you know, bi is a villain to some people. The newcomer guys are villains to bi and others, and then the breaks are also kind of a villain. Wait. I thought I gave it to everybody. Come on. Okay, we should all have legacy cards now. So, choose one option for the final narrated epilogue. It may be about your character or the isolation as a whole. Does anyone in particular want to go first?
I like two of mine. I'm going to wait until after you go, Noella, though.
Okay. I can just go first. Bethany, you look like you need a little time.
No, actually, I think like...
Oh, okay, you can go first then.
Yeah, I think mine doesn't really make a good last one.
Okay.
So, narrated epilogue. So my options are like something that outsiders stand to learn, or saying goodbye to what was normal, or a moment of deja vu. I mean, we had the moment of deja vu with that last one. Saying goodbye to what was once normal. Our group of noodle sellers aren't noodle sellers at all anymore. Like the factory has stopped making noodles. They just aren't profitable enough. I mean, there are other like food distribution, places around the city, but ours, no, it's just a flour distribution center now. I think like the last day, that they make like noodle flour. I think there are a few like remaining honest noodle sellers, or there were up until that day, and like that day or that night, they don't come back, and they don't like their boats aren't docked with the others anymore. It's just a bunch of drug dealers now.
No more noodles. Just drug dealers. A bowl of ramen is only euphemistic now. So I am going to do tension between you and the outsiders, but this outsider is going to be Tamak's mother, who I think was still kind of on the outside. I mean, associated with the noodle sellers, but definitely outsider to the whole drug stuff. So I think that Tamak's mother, not to the house, but to like a place that Bai does business, kind of just like marches up to talk to you.
What's this about?
Look, Tamak has the breaks and won't last much longer. I've watched it. I've accepted it.
Good.
I kind of hold up my hand and I'm like, we've been through a lot, and I want Tamak to have some happiness before they go. I want you two to get married.
And I think Bai just like looks at you and it's like, we've already been married. We just never invited you because you didn't want to believe what we already had.
Oh, God, that's so great. I think that's good. So, I mean, it's not really supposed to be a conversation, but whatever. We can do it however we want. That's so good. Good job, Yoshi.
Cool. I think mine is much further down the line. It's probably like Tamak was supposed to die within like a couple of months, but I think this is like a year and a half later. And it's like, I think we just, because we're on the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
I think what it is like, there you see Bai on his like little like boat, his noodle boat that he hasn't really used a whole lot since he got like his apartment and moved up and things, but he still had access to the boat. And he's out there, and I think his mom is Tamak's mom is there also, and you can see that there's Tamak's body is there, and he's passed. And so I think they slide him like they're out into the middle of the ocean, and sort of like it's the dropping him off to the sea to like give him back to the sea type thing. And I think you see this, it's sort of like a montage, the sun sets in the back, and like they pull back up to like the flotilla and park it off. And then Bai turns to Mock's mom and is like, you know what? I could use a really good bowl of ramen right now. Come with me. I'm buying. I think that's it.
That's great. Yay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining me. I'm sorry that we lost David. Yoshi, thanks for jumping in and staying up so late and after you had another game. I appreciate it a lot. Bethany, I'm glad you made it, even though this wasn't what you thought it was.
So that was fun. Like I didn't know how we were gonna make a complete story out of that, but we totally did. So cool. Yeah. Also, it's 3 a.m. here, so I'm not
good.
Go to sleep.
Go to bed.
Yeah. All right.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, oh, there goes Yoshi.